I am Mohammad Shahban Sahito, Assistant Professor from IR Department, Sindh University. And from that, point of view, I started feeling and assessing myself where I can make fit in my education, in my career. Definitely, I was doing a labor in the factory, and this way it was very difficult time, and my family needed my support, financial support. So it was very difficult for me to taking decision to getting admission and something like that. So this way I decided in 1907 when I completed my intermediate, and that intermediate that I got from the higher secondary school Hingorja. It is very town, it's near to my village, Khairpur Miras, UC Rasulabad and Sobedaro and Gambar Talka. So from the 97 I developed my interest that I must get admission, I must be in a university, any university. So I was having two options because my family was not affording. So I first instance that I opted for the Latif University because it was very closer, because that time point service is available. So I got admission over there in Latif University. The interesting that I want to share with you, in the metric, I decided that I would, because my interest was not in any science subjects, because I was very poor. In mathematics, I was poor. In some of the science subject, I was poor because I already assessed my capability, my skills, my efficiency in the science subject, because I was not regular students in the metric and intermediate. Therefore, my science side, my science courses were I was not good at them. So my habit was I mentioned and I shared with you, I started reading from the very beginning. So my interest developed in the history, in the politics, in the fictions. So I decided it is very easier for me that I should stick with the these subjects. So in a metric, I decided I would have a degree in the international relations, because international relations, that was subject that was covering so many things and was meeting my internal kind of the interest and my inclinations of reading the politics, reading the fictions, reading the history and reading the politics, subcontinent history. And this way, yes, the beyond this when I started thinking reading IR and getting degree in IR, because one of my friend, he was a comrade, he was associated with the Nationalist Party, and he was student of the IR. I used to sit with them, making company with them, having cup of tea in the evening, and they were the more senior, because that time he was a students of the Latif University. So the thing that attracted me, they were talking on the politics, they were talking on the history and the everything. So from that moment, I believed and I decided I would study in IR department, and that was my beginning. So in 1908, that was the first year that I got admission. One of my friend that he wanted to get an admission, so I was very much confused that what should I do. I should give up my work where I was working in Karachi in a factory. So then I said no, I have to be determined, because the thing is that the challenges are coming in the life. Challenges always comes in the life. The thing is that I, from that moment, why should not I be ready for more sufferings, for more troubles, if I taking decision of the my completing my higher degrees. The thing that comes in my mind, the idea that was striking in my mind, if I am working in the factory for the longer times, so I always be worker, I always be in suffering, I will always be in the difficult times. If for 4 or 5 years I go through so much trouble and difficulties, at least I would complete the ambition, my career, my degree. Then the things will start to be normal, things will start to be better in my favor, in my career, in my future. So that was a decision, that was a point that I started. I gave up work and work in a factory, and then I took admission. It was very difficult for me. Even that time, my grandfather, my father, he refused me because he was not in a favor of my having degree. He said, give up this because you are already working from Karachi, so you are giving us, and we needed your help and contribution in the family. So therefore, my grandfather, he was illiterate, but he knew the meaning of the education. He knew that only the education can elevate man, because we were from the downtrodden. So my grandfather, he gave me 500 rupees that you should go. And it was first time that I came Hyderabad by the bus, giving fare to 20 rupees, and 150 rupees I bought a form, and then I submitted in Sindhu University, and finally I was selected, and selected for the admission. And this was my starting and beginning of my career. And then when I entered in the university, and then again I was because I explained you, my background of the finance, so my family was not really helpful in this matter. My mother, she suffered, she contributed a lot, she always encouraging me. My father was not so that much, but my mother always always was on my support, for my support. For the 4 years in education for degree, it was really very difficult for time, but I didn't deviate from my determinations, and I never gave up and continued, despite that my colleagues, my relatives, they were not happy with my education, because the education in the villagers view, it was nothing, it was not given big meaning, and they were believing that you are wasting the time. Why should not I work somewhere? Where should I from get salary or something like this? So education in the villages side is really always discouraged. So in the 25 years ago, and the environment of the village, that was very much discouraging against education. But my father, he was less cooperative. My mother was always ahead in cooperation. So this way, I for 4 years worked a lot, I read a lot, and even I completed and that was the biggest achievement, and I got top faculty and department top in my IR department. So that was the thing. Again, the thing, the sufferings were not ended, the difficult time was not ended, and I was in the final years. I was active in the students' politics. I was very vocal in my department. I was very vocal in my colleagues and my department. The thing, what happens, that I started writing and be active in the universities affair. So I remember the thing that I criticized that time. Mazhar Siddiqui was vice chancellor. I criticized him. I was on one talk show that I criticized his policies, that the things, that education environment is very negative. It is going down and down, even under the leadership and the vice chancellorship of the Mazhar Siddiqui. So Mazhar Siddiqui was not happy to know about my views and something, and Mazhar Siddiqui was in front of my program where I made a speech. So he was so much annoyed with me, and then when I completed my degree, I was first class and first top faculty, and really I with my core of hearts I share with you, I never was thinking to have the CSS and competitive exams or all this, because I was social orientation, political orientation. So therefore, the thing that I decided I will like to be a teacher. That was my ideal kind of the job and professions. And in 2002 I completed my master's degree. In 2003 I started to apply for the lectureship in IR department, same department. The things that I shared with you, at that time administration or the management of the Sindhu University was not happy with some of the activities and my views and ideas. So therefore they never took me, never that given me opportunity for the 10 years. 4 times I appeared in selection board of Sindhu University. But the Mazhar Siddiqui was at that time, he didn't want me, maybe. So that was, I feel, and I, even talked to him. The thing was that, that was even my commitment, my determinations that, always, went through the big troubles. But I had a target in my life that I wanted to prove that I come from the very rural, from the countryside, where the things were, darkness. I was looking at, back, if I am just giving up from here, where I will go. There is no other, way. So I was looking forward. I was going forward. No, kind of the any. I didn't was any problem, or even not so much worried or scared from that what's going to happen in the future. I never because I was just moving ahead, and this way I got one fellowship. I went to the 2006. Went to the India. And there I did a diploma, post-graduation diploma in Delhi. That was, two scholarships that, were announced by the only two students, they were selected from the Pakistan. So I was one of them. And it was, Gandhi and Mandela fellowship. I was for 1 year there, and I studied conflict in the Jawaharlal Nehru University and Mandela and Gandhi Peace Institute. So then I came back again and I started work in development. For 3-4 years I was worked in the development sector, international organization and national organizations. So this way in 2011 I was appointed as a teaching assistant in Sindh University. Then after 2 years I was appointed and selected for the lecturer. Then in the 2012, I got admission in the PhD, and then I completed to PhD in 2018. That was, topic of the foreign policy of Pakistan and the, the dynamics of the, foreign policy making. So I completed PhD, and now I'm working as an associate professor. So the things for the for new generations. In the 20 years back, there were so many difficult challenges. The opportunities were really, shortage. And this is an age of the information that the youth that can explore more and more. That even 20 years back, we had not much information. We didn't have so many ways and options and the things and the guidance and the age of information. So therefore, we was manually working, hard working, so much. So this generation and the 21st century, for our youth, they have the, huge opportunities, so many options. They can choose their career. But thing that I learned from my career, that if you are determined, if you want really to do, then you can do it. If you don't want to do, you cannot do it. So thing is that we have to do, because we don't have other options. Your back side things are darker. You have to go forward, and you can do anything that you want. Once you are determined, that you can, all the challenges that you can face. If you are not determined, even smallest challenge that you can disturb you, can suffer you, can destroy you.